Okay, the next step in solving equations is we're going to start talking about equations where we have more than one operation happening on one side. So what we have going on here is 9 times r minus 6 equals negative 42, okay? And so we're going to continue to follow those rules I talked about in the other one, which is we're going to do the opposite and we're going to do the same thing to both sides, okay? But as we look at this do the opposite, we're really looking at how do we do the opposite when we've got two things, because the order does matter here. And part of it is make sure you do the order in the reverse order of operation also. So the opposite kind of follows through on that. Now the reason is we're basically kind of pulling this apart, okay? We're looking at it, we're taking pieces off, okay? Also think about what this says. This says 9 times something minus 6 equals negative 42. And we can treat this as a chunk. And we can say 9r is just one thing. So something minus 6 equals negative 42. So I want to figure out what this is, what this chunk is first. What do I have to subtract 6 from to get negative 42 before I can go ahead and figure out what this is, what r is? So follow my rules, whatever's happening, do the opposite. So the opposite of minus 6 plus 6, okay? And that'll help me figure out what do I have to start with here to take 6 away to get negative 42. And so then once I've done that, remember that cancels that out. It's basically going to be 0. And so I'm left with the 9r equals, and negative 42 plus 6 is going to be negative 36. Okay, so negative 36 minus 6 equals negative 42. I could check that right here. Check that step right there. Negative 36 minus 6 equals negative 42. Okay, so that tells me that negative 36 has to be the same as my, okay, that tells me that negative 36 has to be the same as my 9r. Okay, so that's what I've got here, 9r equals negative 36. Okay, followed the rules, did the same thing on both sides, and I did the opposite. Okay, and if you think about order of operation, I also did the opposite order of operation because I did the addition. I did the addition of subtraction before I did the multiplication division. So now, opposite of 9 times r, this is 9 times r, 9 times our variable, so divide by 9, divide by 9, divide by 9, okay? 9 divided by 9 would be 1, okay? Leaves me just the r. Negative 36 divided by 9, negative 4, okay? So I could go back and check that part. 9 times negative 4 equals negative 36. Yep, that's true. That's got to make sure of this statement. So this is another little equation. As we did the first step, we're basically creating a new equation that's equivalent, that has the same value for an r, okay? And if I wanted to check the whole thing, I go 9 times negative 4 minus 6, negative 36 minus 6 would be negative 42. And so that does check that negative r, that negative 4 has to equal r. Okay, now that's one example. Now another example you might see similar to this, okay, is something along the lines of like 3 times u plus 7 equals 33, okay? And so you got to decide how you're going to do this one, okay? Now, if you understand distributive property, I could distribute and say 3 times u and 3 times 7 and get 33u plus 21 and work it that way. But I prefer to think of it kind of the same idea here. I'm going to do chunks again, but the difference in is with the parentheses, I have a chunk here. I have u plus 7 as one of my chunks. So I want to figure out 3 times what? 3 times what is 33? And that one actually is not too bad. You probably know that already. Say, oh, that's 11. Otherwise, if we follow our rules, divide by 3, do the opposite. 3 cancel the times 3 and divide by 3 cancel each other out. Left with u plus 7 equals 33 divided by 3, 11. Okay, so we've just got, so we figured out that this chunk in here, u plus 7, has to equal 11. 11, 3 times 11 would equal 33. So that shows us that works. Okay, so now solving this, do the opposite, which you probably already can go, hey, 4 plus 7 is 11. Otherwise, if we do the opposite, okay, just verifies it. Plus 4 minus 4 is 0, so I'm left with just u. And 11 minus 7 is 4, okay? Again, I can check the small part. I can check the last part, this equation that we did second here, which would be 4 plus 7 to see if that equals 11. That's true. Or I could check the whole thing and come back through and go 3 times 4 plus 7 equals, and this would be 11 times 3, it'd be 33. So that definitely works. Okay? And so we're basically still doing the same things we're doing. It's just now we've got to figure out, we got a little bit of consideration of how do we put two steps together, in which order we do it in. And so we're really working our way kind of through the opposite order of operations, okay? Up here, we got multiplication and subtraction, so we did the subtraction first. We took care of the subtraction first, then we undid the multiplication. Here we had a parenthesis, so that was what we did last, because parentheses is normally first, doing the opposite. Okay, so 3 times, so doing the opposite of times, and then did the opposite of the parentheses. Okay, so hopefully this helps.